This video is for the grade 11 classes of St. Patrick's CBC in Kimberley. It is for week 10 of the online lessons during the lockdown of schools due to the coronavirus pandemic. I encourage you to subscribe to the Mrs. M Teaches English YouTube channel so that you don't miss out on any of the lessons. This week, you are going to write a literary essay on the Great Gatsby, using the topic on the envelope which you selected at the beginning of the year. This week you have 4 lessons. In the first lesson, you'll look at what is required in a literary essay. In the second and third lessons, you'll plan and write the draft of your own essay. In the final lesson, you'll edit your work and upload it on Turnitin. In an exam, you would have only 1 hour to write this essay. For this summative task, you'll have more than 3 hours to complete the work. Please plan your time carefully so that you attain the best possible marks for Term 2 Literature. Before we get started, make sure that you have everything you need. Because of the lockdown, you will be able to use all of these resources when writing your essay. I am therefore expecting an excellent essay from every one of you. This is the worksheet that you received with your envelope and index cards. Due to the lockdown regulations, we have to adapt some of these instructions. For example, you won't be able to swap cards with a classmate, as you did in class before we left school in March. You're expected to use the 5-paragraph structure when writing this essay, using the template printed on the back of your instruction sheet. Much of this video is devoted to Lesson 1, which shows you how to go about writing a formal literary essay suitable for an IEB examination. This is how you should structure your answers to Question 1 and Question 2 in Paper 2 of your English examination. A common error made by students is that they write a summary of the plot and throw in a few manipulated sentences in an attempt to answer the question. This is completely inadequate. A literature essay is not the telling of a story, and it's not a superficial collection of sentences masquerading as literary analysis. It is a thoroughly researched, persuasive essay in which you attempt to convince your reader that you have an interesting, considered, and valid point of view. It follows a specific structure in which close references to the text are used to substantiate that point of view. By now, you are all familiar with P-paragraph structure. You should, by grade 11, be moving to a more sophisticated paragraph structure, for which the PETAL and PETA acronyms are useful. The P paragraph is the most basic of analysis paragraphs. It remains a good starting point. Remember that you are making a point, providing evidence that supports your point, and explaining the link between the evidence and that point. The evidence in literature is usually a quote from the text. You are cautioned not to use the first person in these essays. The petal paragraph structure incorporates literary techniques in your answer. It offers more substance to the frame of your answer. All quotes must be correctly written, using quotation marks and square brackets when you amend the original text. A Peter paragraph includes reader response, which makes it a suitable method when writing about tone and mood. Pause the video here and read the terms at the bottom of your screen. If there are any that you do not know, look them up. You have been instructed to write a 5-paragraph essay in response to your essay topic. Whether you follow the diagram on the left or the one on the right won't matter. Just make sure that you have all of the elements required. An introduction, 3 body paragraphs, and a conclusion. We'll spend some time looking at the structure of each of these paragraphs. The first paragraph is short and to the point. You outline your argument, your point of view, and offer a thesis statement. On the next slide, you will listen to an explanation of thesis statements by an American teacher, Caitlin Tucker. Take notes as she talks.
This is a quick tutorial on how to write thesis statements. So there are a few things you need to know about the thesis statement. It is the most important sentence of your essay. And it is the statement, the assertion, the claim you spend the rest of your essay proving and supporting. So really everything in your essay is there to support your thesis statement. So in effect, it's the metaphorical glue that holds the various parts of your essay together, creates unity and cohesion. And because it's the most important sentence of your essay, you want to make sure that it is really strong writing. So I always suggest that students look at the essay prompt or question and then write their thesis statement and spend some time on it to make sure it is as strong as it possibly can be, because the rest of the essay is really going to support that statement. All of the evidence, all of the analysis is there to prove that that statement is correct. So what's in a thesis statement? When you're writing about a text, a book, a literary piece, a informational text, you want to include the title of the text that you're writing about, the author's full name, and you want to include your main assertion or claim. And for those writers who are younger writers, you're just starting to learn about structured writing, so you're focusing on the 5-paragraph essay, you want to mention your 3 main points in this thesis. And so most 5-paragraph essays, you want to be able to give the reader a sense of what are those 3 body paragraphs going to be about? Because you have your introduction, 3 body paragraphs, and a conclusion. And each of those 3 body paragraphs is going to develop a separate point in relation to your thesis. And so some teachers call this the essay map. You include it in your thesis to give the reader kind of a map to let them know what the parts of your essay are going to be about. So when you're writing a 5-paragraph essay, you want the title of the text, author's first full name, your main assertion, and those 3 main points you plan to develop in your 3 body paragraphs. So that sounds like a lot to include in a single sentence. So I want to give you a couple examples of what that looks like. And the first example thesis statement is taken from an essay written about To Kill a Mockingbird. Students were asked to analyze the theme of courage and to select 3 characters from the novel that they felt really demonstrated courage in the face of adversity. So here's the thesis statement for that essay. It reads, in Harper Lee's novel, To Kill a Mockingbird, Atticus, Scout, and Miss Dubose demonstrate courage in the face of adversity. So I have Harper Lee, she's our author, I have her complete name. To Kill a Mockingbird is the title of the text, and because it's a book or a novel, I have it italicized. It's very important that you italicize the title of a book or a novel when you're typing. And then this is clearly an essay on the theme of courage, but I've identified my 3 main points, which are the 3 characters I'm going to talk about, 1 character per body paragraph. So my reader knows that my first body paragraph is going to be all about Atticus and how Atticus demonstrated courage in the face of adversity. My second body paragraph will be all about Scout and how she demonstrates courage. And my third body paragraph will be all about Miss Dubose's courage. So you have a sense for how you can kind of wrap all of those elements in a really clear, clean statement. The second example is from Maya Angelou's early autobiography, I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings. And it was an essay that asked students to really analyze her identity and select 3 events from her life that were covered in the early autobiography, and to analyze how those events shaped Angelou's identity and really helped her to understand why the caged bird sings. So this example thesis statement reads, in Maya Angelou's early autobiography, I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings, her identity is shaped by the constant movement between homes, sexual abuse, and teenage pregnancy. So I have the author's full name, Maya Angelou. I have the title of the text, her nonfiction autobiography, I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings, italicized. This is all about the theme of identity. And then I have the 3 main points. So the first paragraph is going to be about how she was moved between homes. The second one's going to be about sexual abuse. And the third one's about teenage pregnancy. And I'm going to spend the paragraphs analyzing how these moments shaped her identity. So now that you have a sense of, okay, why are these statements important? What needs to go in them? What do example thesis statements look like? It's also important to just make sure you know how long they should be and where they should be in your essay. So your thesis statement should be 1 sentence. You don't want your thesis statement to go on for multiple sentences. It's 1 sentence. It's the last line of your introduction paragraph. The reason you put it at the end of your introduction paragraph is it serves as a really wonderful transition between your hook strategy, which is there to grab your reader's attention and pique their interest, and then it transitions from that into the first body paragraph. So it's important that you not start your introduction with a thesis, but instead end with the thesis statement. And if you're not sure how to write a hook strategy, I have another video on that. So your thesis statement is the last line of your introduction paragraph. It should be approximately 25 words or less. That's what you want to shoot for. If it goes a little over and you've made it as clear and concise as you can, that's okay. But you want to shoot for 25 words. A lot of students, because there's quite a bit of information that needs to go in the thesis, a lot of students really struggle with keeping it concise. Their thesis statements end up very long, and the longer it is, it can kind of lose steam. It can lose some power if it's overly long. So you want to keep it clear, concise, and powerful, because as I said, your thesis statement is the most important sentence of your essay.
I have already warned you against writing in the first person. Your thesis statement must convey your line of argument in a succinct and formal manner. Think of this as an introduction to academic writing. You'll remember this lesson when you have to write a dissertation for your supervisor at university. The 3 body paragraphs each require a unique topic sentence. It's easiest to write the topic sentence first and to follow it with your evidence based on the text. It is vital that you memorize some key quotes from the text that you can use in your essay. A good topic sentence introduces the reader to the main idea of that particular paragraph. Keep it simple. Make your meaning clear. Your writing must be clear. Be precise. Be brief. Have only the necessary information. Resist the temptation to pad your writing by including irrelevant details. Do not refer to information in other paragraphs. Your aim is to avoid general statements and to avoid the evidence or explanations that prove your point. They come in the rest of the paragraph. You might be wondering what the difference is between a topic sentence and a thesis statement. This slide should clarify the difference for you. The thesis statement outlines your argument and appears at the end of your introduction. There is only one thesis statement in an essay. There are numerous topic sentences in an essay, one at the beginning of every body paragraph. They tell the reader what will be in each body paragraph. Imagine that I asked you to write an essay about an invention that has transformed modern society. You believe that traffic lights are that invention. Look at these 2 topic sentences. The differences between the good and bad sentences are obvious. You should strive to write good topic sentences. It takes practice. When you give the explanations that prove your topic sentences to be true, make sure that you use your own words as you incorporate quotes and evidence from the text. Your paragraphs should flow smoothly from one to the next. Make use of transition words that link the paragraphs. Read through your draft to check that the writing is not disjointed. This can only happen when you plan well, when you write a draft, when you revise the draft, when you edit it before you write the final essay. The final paragraph is very structured. You simply restate your argument and make a clear, unambiguous statement that leaves your reader in no doubt as to your point of view. Please do not start your final paragraph with a hackneyed phrase such as "in conclusion" or "to summarize." In your introductory paragraph, you write your thesis statement. In your concluding paragraph, use the same wording, but rephrase it. This is not the place to cram in the thoughts and points that you forgot about in the body paragraphs. Don't worry if your conclusion is short. Its function is to be the bow of the string that ties up the package of your essay. Your examiner reads hundreds of literary essays every year. You want yours to be memorable. Your final thought, final sentence should be so original, so thought-provoking, that it sticks in your examiner's mind long after your essay has been read and marked. Don't forget, though, that your language must be formal and academic, even in this final thought. Here's that essay template again. If your essay is structured well, you're virtually guaranteed of a good mark. Some pointers about the writing style required in literary essays. Always use the simple present tense. Do not get creative. Always use formal register and avoid references to yourself. Be sure to include plenty of references to the text. Avoid long, rambling sentences. Many of you are guilty of making the comma splice error. When in doubt, keep your sentences short, using the subject-verb-object structure. For paragraphs and points to be linked to form a cohesive whole, make use of transition words such as however, therefore, thus. Your tone and register must remain academic and formal. Don't include language devices that are usually used for creative effect. Avoid rhetorical questions and figurative language. Save that for your creative writing tasks. Make sure that you know your text. There's nothing worse than reading an essay in which characters' names are incorrectly spelled or place names are muddled. Such mistakes imply that you have not actually read the text. Finally, use quotations from the text accurately and effectively. Skillful incorporation of quotes is usually what elevates an essay into a higher level. Relevant quotes used to substantiate opinions convince your reader that you have thought deeply about the work that is being studied. Most of what we have gone through in this first lesson is familiar to you. Pay attention to this advice, these guidelines. You will see the improvement in your writing, which leads to improved marks. Now that you know what is expected of you, it's time for you to plan your own essay on The Great Gatsby. The first thing you have to do is brainstorm your topic. Jot down all your ideas on paper. There are a number of ways in which you can do this brainstorming. You need to find a method that works for you. Most of us use this kind of mind mapping. It's helpful to use different colors for different points. The planning doesn't have to be neat, but it does need to be systematic, logical. You can try sketchnoting as a method of planning or summarizing your work. Pause the video and look at the 3 images on the left. You might find something that you can use. The image on the right is an example of the Cornell note-taking method. You divide the page into 3 sections. On the left, you write key words and concepts. On the right, you explain those concepts. At the bottom, you summarize that information. Whichever method you choose, focus on the content, not the appearance. There are no marks allocated for pretty pictures. It's all about function, not form. You need to analyze your topic. Underline or highlight key words in the question. Make sure that you understand exactly what is being asked. The wording of the question, the topic, guides you as to how you should structure your answer. It is here that you decide on the content of your essay and how you will present your point of view. Remember the essay structure. Plan for 5 paragraphs as indicated on the template that you received with your envelope topic. Don't forget to read through the rubric in the IEB SAGS document. This document is uploaded on Edmodo for you. You don't need to print it, as it is many pages in length, but you do need to see how your essay will be marked. Your third lesson of the week should be devoted to sorting through your rough notes, your mind map, and writing a draft essay. In paper 2, you'll have only 1 hour to do all of this work. So don't think that these 4 lessons will not give you enough time to get the job done. In your final lesson, type the essay. Proofread it carefully. I do expect you to use the spell check, and then submit it on Turnitin before the deadline. There will be no extensions given, so please budget your time properly. This essay forms a huge chunk of your Term 2 literature mark. There's no reason that you can't do very well. It is imperative that you adhere to all format requirements. Please ensure that your name, class, and very importantly, your topic are printed as a heading for your essay. You'll be penalized if you don't stick to the word count requirements, 500 to 600 words. You have a lot of work to do, but I know that you can complete this assignment successfully. Feel free to contact me should you have any queries. Good luck, everyone. Work hard, work efficiently, and you will reap the rewards.